Hey guys, this is Daniel Garza, and this is a very special edition of Talk Art. Because not only am I going to talk to you guys about a really cool painting, but I have the artist here with me. And he's also a friend, so I feel really excited that I'm getting this kind of exclusive. So let's see what we got. Kuger Peterson, how are you?
Good, thanks for coming by.
Thank you. We're here in his studio, and tell me about your life. What inspired you to first pick up a brush and start painting?
I guess I just as a child always drew and whatnot, just a way to pass the time or kind of show off to older people.
Okay, and when was that first time that you put something together and you said, wow, this is worth showing, this is really artistic, not just sketches?
I used to draw my Transformers a lot,
okay.
And there was a couple where I looked at them afterwards and I was like, hey, those are pretty good. So, yeah, I just kind of kept it up through childhood and then picked up in college where I left off. So.
Cool. So you had two other shows before, correct?
Yes.
And what was that like? What did it feel to have that first showing of your work?
It was cool. Definitely nervous, and it was like 400 people crammed into this tiny gallery, so it was a bit hot and sweaty, but it was a lot of fun.
So did that really like motivate you to keep going?
Yeah.
Was it like the thrill of it, like an actor going on stage and going, yeah, I can do this?
I'm sure something like that. It's odd because the payoff is so delayed.
Okay.
You know, you spend your time working off by yourself, and then when you finally do get maybe recognition or just appreciation for it, it comes much, much later. So,
okay. And now that you're older, what inspires you? What motivates you to put something together?
A lot of my work has been politically oriented in the past few years, and it largely because of just a lot of things going on in the world that I disagree with, and feeling, you know, I guess voiceless and trying to find an outlet for the angst that I feel in some things. So
we can definitely see your pieces, and a part of your voice is in there.
Definitely.
Definitely. All right. So you were telling me earlier that your dad inspired you. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, he always used to remind me of a story of when we were going by a store and it said, support the troops in the window. And I said to him, they don't care about the troops, they just want to sell, you know, snack packs, whatever it was. And he laughed and said, you know what, you're right. And a lot of my insight and my political views come from my father, who was a Vietnam veteran, and then later, I wouldn't say like a full-on protester, but a child of the 60s, and definitely went to the anti-war side after a lot of things came to light.
So when you, now that you talk politics and your paintings, who are they speaking to?
I suppose they would be speaking to liberals about conservatives.
Okay.
So, especially the neoconservatives are a big subject matter of mine, but I'm definitely left-leaning, and so I think those would be the people that would respond to it more.
Cool. So would you say that, and this is just a question, this is your soapbox?
Sort of, yeah. It's, I mean, the use of imagery. I remember seeing in a graffiti documentary that art is a weapon, which is an interesting concept, and the idea of waging ideological warfare through visuals was kind of intriguing to me. Yeah.
Cool. So now segueing into it, talk about the piece. Shadow.gov?
Shadow.gov.
All right. Why the name?
It sounded institutional with the .gov denoting some sort of website or some sort of place where something would be coming from. And then shadow, talking about shadow government, which was an actual quote by Dick Cheney, featured here on the left in his younger days, where he talks about having to go to the dark side in order to get things to happen, and in order to do good, you have to do bad. And I just don't agree with that premise.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I never heard that, but I'm not really political, so... for those connoisseurs, which I'm not really, but dimensions and how did you do this?
Okay. I think it's 36 by 44, and it's acrylic on just wood, a wood panel. And it really started from thinking about political cartoons. Okay. I love the form of political cartoons. But oftentimes they're just, either sophomoric or they're inflammatory for no reason. I don't know. I don't take a lot of them seriously, and it's kind of a disappointment because of what a great venue it is.
Got it.
So just kind of transferring the visual components or composition of political cartoons into fine art was at least the jumping off point for assembling that one.
So, to my understanding, that it would be a political cartoon without being edited. It's X-rated. It's right in your face. So.
And not disposable. I mean, political cartoons are rather disposable, and just you see them and then they go out with the paper.
And would you say that, because we were talking about this before, that the description that you were giving me was not necessarily what I took from it? Is that what you want people to do? Is that you want everybody to get their own caption? Yeah,
I have these, it's either ideas or narratives, and then the visual components that are the characters in those narratives. And they are fairly abstract, at least conceptually. So just the fact that those images were put together in someone's mind is good enough for me.
Okay.
Just because it, like a seed for at least connecting these things, and maybe they hear something on the news and they're like, oh hey, that's kind of,
Okay.
So
cool. So if Kuger could give this painting a voice to tell us what he's talking about, what would be the story?
This came from a meditation on thinking about the Holy Grail.
Okay.
And its historical significance in relation to weapons of mass destruction. And even visually, it's kind of chalice shaped with the mushroom cloud and the Holy Grail. But I mean, back in the Crusades, the myth of the Holy Grail justified the occupation of foreign territory. There was this weapon out there that we have to get a hold of because somebody else will use it against us.
Okay.
Which seems to be very similar to the use of WMDs in reference to the War on Terror.
Wow.
So just kind of.
So what's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Should be having a show coming up in October. Working just, I don't know, it's hard to plot out exactly what I'm going to do because it hinges so much on where my mind's at, which is always in flux. So
that's cool. Well, guys, as you can see, a little exclusive on one of his pieces, and I'm going to be able to put up websites and how to get in touch with Kuger so you guys can find him and talk to him directly about his work. He's got some amazing stuff here in his studio, and there's other pieces that I'm pretty gaga over, so we might be able to do another interview with him if he'll allow me to come back and maybe talk about some of the other pieces. You guys saw in the other episodes that I did, we were talking to designers about pieces that they owned, but this time we have the actual artist, so we might be able to come back. So Kuger, thank you.
Anytime.
My pleasure. And guys, Stay tuned. We'll have more.